Hi, I'm Andy.
And I'm Rich.
And this is Get Gaming, a channel by two gamers with a Y.
For gamers with or without a Y.
Yes, and today we have another monthly math video for you. We're actually going to cover the previous month's stats less than a month after that month has ended.
That's the best we've ever done.
I know, it's still fresh in his mind. I just want to reintroduce real quickly our lovely mascot, Stacy the Stegosaurus. Here, put your head down. That's Stacy. And this is Johann Friedrich von Rosenberg, the chameleon.
Wasn't he executed for treason or something?
Shh. His father was executed for treason by the High Chameleon Court of the Amazonia. Yeah, he's just hanging out here with us, you know, as you do when you're a chameleon. This month was a little lighter. It was kind of crazy. I wanted to do just an update for people that are watching the channel because I don't think we've really done any kind of talking about what's been going on in our lives right now. Generally, I've just been posting some playthroughs and reviews and things.
Yes.
So June was, how was June for you, baby?
You know, it kind of came and went.
It's a shorter month, 30 days. You know?
Yeah.
You know, 4 weeks. And every single weekend I had something big happening. Like I either had a concert or there were the game days at work or just like I felt like I didn't really have any free weekends until this last weekend. And then at the end of June, I injured my leg. So that was fun. I'm finally walking again. And I'm just trying to get till my vacation starts in the middle of this month. I'm just chugging along. Obviously, because things were so crazy. And I think there was an entire week where maybe we played games, maybe we didn't. I'm not sure.
There were days.
There were days when I would just
games.
come home and I'm like, I would love to play a game, but I just passed out before we could even set one.
I think this is one of the times where I was bugging you to play the games instead of the opposite.
Well, quality over quantity. There were a good amount of new games this month, and even my BGA stats were much less than they usually are because I ended up playing a lot of new, bigger games. I really fallen off on the BGA. I think some poor people were waiting in that King Domino tournament for me. Sorry, guys. Messed it up. I didn't play for like 3 days or something. And I didn't even notice. And I was like, oh, wow, everything is a blur. Let's get on to our stats. So the total games that me and Rich played in June.
The other J.
The other J. 24 total plays for us. Then I only played 29 games on BGA. So if you watched our monthly math for May, you'll notice that is a fraction of the games that we played in June. And I only played 11 solo games the whole month. Yeah. Way down. The total plays for me was only 62. Which, so, you know, much less. Like, I think that's only a quarter of what I played in May.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, I think our plays together was only halved, pretty much, from what it was in May. We played 13 different unique games in May. I played 23 unique games on BGA, which was also really down. And I played 5 solo unique games for a total of 40. So of the 62 plays I had, that was 40 different games. And then the new to us, we played 3 games that were new to us, which we'll talk about. And I only played 7 games that were new to me on BGA, but they were all big honkers. So I'll kind of talk about those. And only played 1 new to me solo game in June. Let's go over the games we played in June. I didn't get to the most played because really there were no games we played more than like twice or maybe 3 times on some of the solo ones for me. But we did play Dokmus was in there towards the beginning of the month.
So much fun saying Dokmus.
Dokmus.
Do you play Dokmus?
The mighty Dokmus. You must get favor of Dokmus or volcano will erupt. I don't know if they're Russian. I think it's a Finnish game. which we want to cover on the channel. I do have the expansion, and I think I mentioned it in the monthly May wrap up as well. So we're wanting to get back to that and play through all the expansions before we cover it on the channel. Which is only, there's like 4 different kind of modules in the expansion.
I've only played that game twice anyway.
So we should play more. Yes.
Yeah, we should.
I played Dragonheart with you at the beginning of June. That's what I think that was the first time.
Oh yeah, that was the first time. Yeah.
What'd you think of Dragonheart?
I could
Dragonheart, as I wrote it here. Dragonheart.
I liked it. The art with the dragons. Come on, of course I'm gonna like it.
Obviously we love anything dino, reptilian, dragon adjacent. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it as I really want to get a physical copy of that game because I think it would make a really good 2-player game for us.
Seems like a 2-player game.
It's a 2-player only.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just you're placing a lot of cards on this board and you're trying to activate like certain things to be able to take. Basically, it's like kind of set collection a little bit to get the points, and then you just run straight through the deck. It's pretty breezy, but there's a little bit of strategy to it for sure. I usually play it online with Hannah from the Discord, who always comments on our videos. Hi, appreciate you.
I love Hannah because it's a.
I'm pretty sure that's her.
It's a.
Let us know if it's actually your name because I know her as Furia Amberdale from the Discord.
It's a palindrome. That's what I was trying to say. I love Hannah because it's like one of the few
pretty sure that's okay. So we appreciate you. I think on YouTube she's Malvina something. Let me know if I'm getting it twisted and these are not the same person. It's hard for me to keep track of all the different usernames, you know. We did squeeze in one Zombie Teens Evolution. We really need to just get through the rest of that campaign. So
I'm okay with that game. It's like a game that almost plays itself. We should just like set it up and I don't know.
That's not really a good selling point. It plays itself. I would like to be more active in this game process.
I could be reading a book. Oh yeah.
It doesn't sound very interesting. You're also not selling it. It's not that bad. It's not that level.
But I like games that are like that. I like games that you could cook. You could be cooking dinner and still play the game.
It's breezy. Well, now you know I like my solo games. Speaking of, what did I do solo this month? I did the Food Chain Island, Sprawlopolis. I got some Orchard in there, mostly because I did a playthrough of it. And then, of course, I also filmed Ada Lovelace, which was my last video that dropped. I don't know if Kahuna is going to be posted before this. It's one of the last videos I dropped. Go check it out. Overwhelmed and excited that the designer got back to me and said he was going to share it on the socials because I was only the 3rd person to cover that game. But it's one of his more popular ones. Cool designer to check out. And then I did Wild Space, was the new to me solo game, which works really well as a solo game. I quite enjoyed it because it's already multiplayer solitaire practically. There's not much interaction in that game. And you can really focus on the card chaining that you have to do in that game, without other people having to wait for other people's AP, which is a very AP prone type of game. Just it doesn't matter who you are playing it, you're gonna have some kind of AP, just trying to figure out the puzzle of what order to put those cards out in.
What I liked about that game is that it's not as limiting as, sure, you have to have a certain amount of cards in your set to open some of these other planets. But throughout the game, you constantly have the choice of, should I land here or should I explore there? Or it felt, for the kind of game it is, it feels very open, kind of expansive feeling.
Yeah, it does a lot in a very limited amount of space because it's a 30-minute game.
Exactly.
If you know it. Like when I played it solo, 30 minutes tops. I think the more people you adds a little bit more time because we just did it at 3-player with our friend Jamila. Hi, Jamila. 3rd member of Get Gaming, our Flame Dame. And, well, we were many mimosas deep by the time I pulled that stuff out. So I should have known better. But she was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, she was.
What
like
do I do?
me the first time I play a game, and I
It
don't
burned your
understand-
brain. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Melted.
why this is. It's always like the first time. It's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and blah blah blah. What do you think? And I'm always getting him. But then
He was just grabbing her hand and like playing for her. So.
well, it's true.
She
I
wanted
don't know.
you
So
to.
it was like only the second time, and I don't know. I go from being like completely
It was your
flummoxed.
It was your
my
third
third.
time
Okay.
playing that game.
And then it's sometime during the second game, it's like it all makes sense.
Sure,
This
clicks.
happens practically for every game we play.
I mean, maybe, and Jamila had mentioned this to me, that maybe I could change and adapt the way that I'm teaching the game to you guys a little bit, because I'm very much a give you a broad overview and then dive into it kind of thing. And I feel like for people
We're
like
not
you,
like that.
you need a little more hand holding. So maybe I could do a little bit.
Yeah,
better
you try to
at
do when you're giving directions. You try so hard to give this over expansive view, but that really breaks down on games like this where you have to be looking at the.
Well, I just want to explain how everything works so that you have all the information going into it, because I've been accused in the past of trying to pull a fast one on people and being like that typical, oh, yeah, I didn't tell you about this very important rule. That kind of is important, So I'm trying to make sure I'm thorough. But I think maybe, and that's why I like to do the model rounds for people before we start as well, because I think that's helpful for people to see it in action a little bit more, so that I'm not spending 30 minutes just trying to explain the
It's
game.
always, for me, it's just about like the symbology on the cards, and you just have to get comfortable with it.
And I was going through the different cards in the deck, and I realized, oh, there's really only like 6 different kinds of actions when you're doing the card.
And there's
trick.
only 3 different kinds of cards, and
It's true.
I'm sure if we'd have played it again, she would probably have been catching on. She was also on her phone while we were playing it.
And drinking her giant bottle of Cooks. Well, we were all drinking her giant bottle of Cooks, let's be real. We got through more than a couple that day. Played Skulls of Sedlec for the first time in June, because it took a little bit for me to pull that one out and for us to do it. And I don't know, I think we were both a little underwhelmed by it. It's fun. I love the idea of you're building this cemetery and you're trying to have the hierarchy and place different peasants and royals in different spots, and you're scoring kind of points for this tableau. It's a tableau building game. It's okay. It's quick, like a lot of all those button shy games are.
I actually like it. It was the replayability that we weren't sure.
And I got a couple expansions, including the solo expansion, but I realized the solo expansion, you need these other 5 expansions just to play the solo expansion. But I feel like those will add a little bit replayability. It's like I got the executioners and the poets, and there's one that's like ambassadors and merchants. So just adds different kinds of things. I was thinking for 2 players, we could just try having a bigger pyramid, because the 9 cards is the size of the pyramid in the base game. But, there's enough cards, I think we could, when you add the expansions, you could have bigger pyramids, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
So we might try that and see how much replayability it has. I kind of like the solo game in the sense that you have different shapes, so you're building 2 different pyramids at the same time. So it adds a little bit more crunch that way. But
I'm just amazed at all of those button shy games,
They're so good.
they're able to come. I mean, like 18 cards, like really? You wouldn't think, but
yeah, because it's all about combining different kinds of probabilities together, right? Like there's a lot of game that you can pack into those 18 cards. I feel the same way with Wild Space is a more complicated game that's in a tighter kind of package. And it is harder to design a game that is simple but crunchy. And that's really the kind of games I'm really getting into, because I like a lot of game in a small package.
And I'm sure we have not really gotten even close to tapping out on Wild Space. It has lots more replayability.
I think so. We also played a bunch of Fort. There was more Fort this month as well, which I like that game as well. You definitely need to keep it. And 5 Crowns. We were all up on that 5 Crowns. So in June, I played at the Golden Gate Park Festival in San Francisco for a reading band, which was basically we showed up to the gig, we sight read through all the pieces once, and then we performed them, which is stressful but very fun. And I think when we were in San Francisco, we played 5 Crowns at least twice, mostly in the hotel. We are really getting into that game. I think it's my new favorite card game. Just like
it's a great card game.
It's very Rummy-esque, but you have 5 suits instead of 4, and you can play up to 7 players, which I think makes it's our kind of now go-to play at the bar game, because it's just a big deck of cards, so you don't have to worry so much about it getting. It's already beat up because I got the game used from Janelle, who taught it to us, and our Celia loves that game too. And I was like, okay, this is now the new party game. Beats Crimes Against Humanity, that's for sure. Which is what I call Cards Against Humanity. One of the
few games in which I maybe frequently win.
He's so good at that game. You have the best luck in that game specifically. And, but even Celia said sometimes she's going to lose just because it really depends on what you're drawing in that game, because you're trying to create the runs and sets and you're trying to go out. So you want to have the least points. And that's hard to do if someone else goes out, then everyone else has to go out immediately after, and they're stuck with whatever points they have left in their hand. So it's very much a game of chance.
It is.
But that's what makes it fun, and it's low pressure in that way, because you're just trying to figure out how to curate your hand in the time that you have. And if you can't do it, you just can't do it. And it's kind of whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I had one game we played where I was just getting the best draws, and I hecka beat Celia. Got to the point where she was like, yeah, it's mathematically impossible for anyone to beat you at this point, and we still have 2 rounds left. So I was like, what? Okay. I'm not sure what I did differently. Not much. There's a little bit of skill in curating the hand, but it's a lot of luck. But sometimes it's nice to just play a kind of luck-based game.
It is. It allows us to occasionally beat Celia.
Or just be the heck of toasted.
That too.
Oh, it's not like we're always drinking when we're playing games. Like, I usually don't drink when I'm playing solo games, believe it or not, for the most part. That's a lie, because when I did my Orchard and my place playthrough, they're like, wait, I see a glass of wine there. So I'm such a liar.
I never said I was a role model.
But what some of the new stuff I played this month, I played some really big games on BGA, like Through the Ages, which I'm still not sure I understand that game or particularly care for it, but I'd try it again, maybe in person. I was telling you that's the Civ building game where I had Johann Bach was my leader. I was developing new technologies and vaccines, but then I wasn't able to feed my people, so they kept on doing an uprising on me all the time. I was like, God damn you peasants, know your place.
Sounds like a Monty Python movie.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
It's an older game, and it's not bad. Me and the guy off from the Discord I was playing with, we both got to the end, and he was like, well, that was a game. And it was my thoughts exactly.
Is there someone else up there we could talk to?
No, now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
But then I also played Teotihuacan, which I really want to get because I think you would really like it. It's from the same makers of Praetor, which is one of our favorite Euro games. And it's not the same designer, but it's the same company that he kind of works with. It's dice worker placement, and you're going around this board and you're trying to build the pyramid of Teotihuacan. It's got kind of this Mayan kind of civilization theme, but it's really pretty abstract.
I think that's the Aztecs.
No, it's
Teotihuacan is the one that's in Mexico City.
Yeah, but it's in the Yucatan, so I'm pretty sure that was the Mayan Empire, not the Aztec Empire. Because the Aztec Empire was the later medieval period and the earlier medieval period. Most of the ones, because the Aztecs didn't build that many pyramids because they were kind of centralized in what was Tenochtitlan, I think was the capital of
I went
Aztecs.
to Chichen Itza.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's mine.
That is mine. And Coba was
Mhm.
another one.
I'm not an expert on Mexican history, obviously, but that game, at least there's no like human sacrificing or anything, problematic in that particular game, thematically. So you're just building the pyramid and you're worshiping and you're using cocoa as a resource to feed your people. And there's an eclipse that happens. And, there's a lot of different stuff happening in the game, but mechanically, I feel like it's pretty simple, at least what you're doing on your turn, because you're just moving your dice, one of your workers, and you're taking an action in that spot. And that's it. So
Okay.
I feel like it would be something that would be real breezy for us. It's definitely still a 2-hour game, and it's very point salad-y. So it might be a little to wrap your head around at first, like, what should I do? Where should I go? What's the order of operations here?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like that puzzle of it. And you're building the pyramid in the middle with these different colored tiles that you're trying to match up. So I really want to get a physical copy of it and play it with you and see what you think of it. I think you might like it, actually. Of course, I played more Castles of Burgundy, more Feast for Odin, the usual suspects. I tried playing through a game of Troyes. Wasn't really sure what was going on in Troyes. I actually got kicked out of the game of Troyes because I didn't take my turn for 2 days. Sorry, guys. I just really fell off the BGA bandwagon, especially towards the end of the month, because things were just like getting too crazy. So I apologize to you guys. And feel free to kick me out of the game. It's fine. I'll take the karma hit.
What about the kids that look up to you?
All the kids looking up to me can suck my...
There wasn't a lot really new, and we played a lot less in June. We had our 24 plays, but I think they were good ones, and we've been doing the bi-weekly game day, so that's been nice getting things in. Oh, we dusted off Autumn Harvest, because we just did a whole half a video talking about Autumn Harvest, and so just so you know, we do actually play that game every now and again.
Yeah,
And
I always like going back to that game.
I won! I don't know how I won. Well, we were teaching it to 2 new people. So we're doing a 4-player with Janelle and Rihanna at the game day. And they seem to really like it. Every time I come back to that game, I'm reminded that it really is a really good, it's such a solid, but not hard deck builder, and just those T-Dragons are just ceaselessly cute.
They are.
What was your favorite gaming experience in the month of June?
It was probably playing 5 Crowns in San Francisco, just because it had been a while. We're here in the Central Valley, and
It was
hot.
so nice. It was 62
it was
degrees
perfect.
there the whole time we were there, and it was amazing.
It was even not that cold. It was like perfect.
It was nice. It was balmy.
Yeah.
Not too foggy, actually.
No, it was perfect.
Wow.
Usually this time of year, San Francisco can get really cold.
It gets cold in the
foggy.
summers there for
Yeah.
those of you that are not local to California or San Francisco.
There's like typically there's like a 30-degree. Plus, you have to understand, Sacramento's not really even that far from San Francisco.
70 miles, like
Yeah.
about an hour.
Exactly, if there was no traffic, that is.
Yeah.
But
well,
still, in that, it's just amazing how the weather pattern is so different.
well, it's on the ocean.
Yeah.
Because the East Bay, on the other side of the bay, like Berkeley and stuff, is kind of more similar to here weather-wise most of the
Can
time.
be.
But because San Francisco's right on the Pacific Ocean, and it's kind of steep,
Right.
because it's a high elevation on the peninsula, so like the fog definitely rolls in, and they get that cooling element.
But we didn't have it there. It was so nice.
I mean, it was pretty misty
It's
when we
really
went to Ocean Beach.
Yeah.
And it was
that's
still the
true.
afternoon when we went, so for it to be that misty. But the day that I was playing for the festival, it was pretty clear and probably close to perfect weather.
It
I
was.
think,
It was really
for
nice.
that. It was
So
nice.
that was just fun. I mean, that just goes to show too that like where you're playing games has a little bit to do with
and
the,
who you're playing them with.
That's true.
That's right.
That's true.
That was such a good, relaxing mini vacation, even though I was performing. It was a stressful concert.
It was.
Which Adrian sent me video of it. I should put a little clip of me playing the glockenspiel in here because I was like, oh, I sound good. But anyway, that was the month of June. Trying to really ramp up our stats for July. So we'll have some really impressive statistics for you. But, you know, I think a lot of people also had a crazy June. So I'm sure we're not alone in having, you know, less plays for this particular month. And we launched the channel in June.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's been taking a lot more time. And I knew once it started, once it got going, it was going to start sucking up a lot of time. So I'm still trying to figure out the time management aspect of all of this. And, you know, I'm learning every video I do, I'm learning more and more about how to make a video for sure. And we're still trying to get all the tech stuff figured out. You know, I'm learning to accept and be content with what it is right now, and that will just continue to improve because there's nowhere but up.
Yes.
That's all we have for you today. If you like content like this, please subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
And hit that notification bell so you can get notified when we drop some more spicy vids. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers so I can actually do a live stream.
Yay.
We're at 19 right now. Not bad. We're 2 weeks in as of today. We're building. It's happening. So tell your friends to like and subscribe. Send them the link for the video. You know, spam your coworkers. Strongly suggest. By hook or crook. This has been Get Gaming. Remember to stay gay, do crime, and get gay men. Remember to stand up straight and be proud. I feel so happy on his happy pills.
Yes.
That's right. You got to make the face that the leopard gecko is making. Robin Davies? No, Robin David. That's his name. They're ceaselessly cute. Sorry, my roommate's cat is exploring in the laundry room there, and she's freaked herself out because the door slammed on her. Sorry, the cat's going into the bathroom. I don't know. There's no litter box in there.
No, I am standing up.
Are you? I don't believe it. Look at this. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
The slumpy dragon.
It's those wings.
Oh, these flappers are very heavy. Flap,
Yes.
flap your wings, flap, my dragon, flap.